Hey guys, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. Wow, I got to say, this is probably one of the most eye-opening shows I have ever seen because you really examine your relationships so closely. I got to first ask Michael and Rada, why did you guys want to come back and do this all over again? It looks a little brutal.
Well, I think a lot of things happened during the off season that I think the world needed to know as far as status of the baby, a lot of things, also they were probably curious to this whole side chick thing, did it work, did it survive, and I think we felt like we owed it to our fans to at least know what's going on in our life. So kind of like came to like tell them everything that was going on.
Yeah. And what did you guys have to do with selecting the other couples that joined you? Was that all on you or how did you decide?
It was partially on us, when they invited us, they asked, is there any other couples out there that you think are interesting enough or who are you friends with? And, and that's how I started naming a few couples. When with Ron, of course, I ran across Ron DeVoe a few times and, I was curious to know what was going on in his life. Me and Claudia go way back. We did a Master P movie back in like 2006. I know, and since then she's been doing her thing on radio and in, reality. So I figured out that, I was curious about her too, what was going on in her life. Just Larry is a fellow comedian and, I was curious to what she had going on in her life. I didn't even know she had a man until she popped up with the guy with the one gold tooth. And then Nick, and then the rest of it. I was really curious to know, I started thinking in my head and then, of who would be interesting to get to know. And then, and people popped up and here we are. It's a wonderful show. It's a great season. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Because I know, Claudia, you've been in the spotlight and you're no stranger to, talking about your feelings and emotions. I remember, on Housewives. But what was your reaction when you were asked if you wanted to join a show like this?
At first I was nervous and I'm like, can I host it instead so I could just be safe? But then I was like, you know what? Go for it. Why not?
Okay.
I actually thought like, we're good. We're going to get through it. It's not going to be a problem. We're not going to really go deep. It's probably just going to be like a TV show surface. And it really wasn't. We actually really did go there in the sessions with AJ and like when the couples, like I remember a night, Michael, when we were all talking about stuff and you opened up about some things and, like we talked about stuff that really was hard and painful. You know what I'm saying? Like it was real. Like if anyone thinks the show is fake or casted or we're playing for the cameras, they are wrong. Like this is our real life, our real partners, our real situations. And I think it was good to be able to kind of, let folks know from us instead of a third-party blogger speaking on Michael and Rada, Claudia and KJ, Ronnie and Shamar. Like you get to see the whys behind what we do. And I thank Michael and Rada and VH1 for the opportunity and AJ. Cause like, you don't usually get a chance to control your narrative or to like give it to, tell it yourself. It's always someone running their mouth about your business, but for you to like put it out there yourself, it's just so much better. And my cat wants to be on camera. Okay.
Oh, it's so cute. Yeah, because I know there was one moment, at least in the preview, KJ, that, you're asked, are you attracted to her? I mean, that's pretty intense. Did you think maybe for a second to be like, yeah, I'll just lie or something? You know what I mean? You were right up there.
For me, I don't have just a simple yes. I really wanted to think about the reasons why yes, why no. And so at that point, I was like, let me just go ahead and say no, because of course I'm supposed to say yes, but there's a reason why I'm not, or a reason why I wasn't at the time. Mm-hmm. Of course, she's gorgeous. She's got a great body, all that stuff. She's attractive. There's no doubt about it. But there was a reason why I chose to say no at that point. And I think hopefully I explained
because he's an asshole.
Oh, yeah, later. That's
an explanation. Yeah, but it's shocking at how raw and real you are. You don't no boy after this. You don't sugarcoat it or anything like that. Like, I mean, Michael and Rada, the side chicks. Did that surprise you guys about that? Like the the discussion, especially as they were getting married.
It surprised me. I thought it was fake. I was like, they got to be just doing this. But after talking to Rada later on in the season, I realized that, this is really how they are. This is really what they like. And as long as, the rules are followed, then it can continue. But if not, there's going to be problems.
I always thought it was an act. I thought Michael Blackson, because he's so funny and he's a comedian, that was part of his act, side chicks. But, like a lot of times with comedians, they're one way on stage, and then in real life, they're, a big teddy bear. They're not really about that life, but no, they really are. And then to hear from Rada, like her reasons why and how she's okay with it. I just think this show will force people to like open up their narrow-mindedness and not think just because something ain't for you don't mean it's okay. If it works for them, it works for them, and don't judge. You know what I mean? Like, of course we judge a little bit because they did ask us about y'all in our confessionals. So don't be mad. We try to be as nice as we could though. Okay. Cause we like y'all. But you know what I'm saying? But like, I just think people gotta just be open-minded about, there's a lot of different ways a relationship can work. Don't have to be your way. As long as they're happy, then that's all that matters,
Yeah, I mean, and then you guys, Rada, did you feel like as your relationship evolved and moved forward, you can change how you feel, and you can change the rules and narrative. Where did this journey take you as far as that goes with the other women?
Yeah.
Well, in the beginning, our relationship was very open, and there were no rules and boundaries. But now we're able to establish more of the rules and boundaries for having this type of relationship, which I, very well appreciate, that he's open-minded and he's understanding and he's listening, and well worth making those changes.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get to that point, Michael, to where you both got to an understanding about what you wanted?
Communication. That's one thing I was very terrible at doing, communicating. I just like to do things my way and get away, do what I want to do. And I realized that, hey, if you're going to be in a relationship, you have to compromise, you have to work together. So communication was the key.
Yeah, and that seems to be the big basis for this whole show is the communication. Would you feel that through going through this experience, you learned certain tools or ways to be better communicators as a couple?
We did. That was one of the biggest issues I had prior to going to this retreat. Mm-hmm. Would not talk about anything. And we had so many issues that were just swept under the rug. And I felt like I wasn't heard and he wasn't understanding where I was coming from and putting himself in my shoes. And I felt like this retreat has helped us tremendously as far as him opening up and telling me how he feels and telling me his views of certain issues and the reason why. So that helped me understand and kind of grasp what's going on in his mind. And, we're able to kind of come to a middle ground and work together.
Yeah, because I know one of your communication strategies was to take your ring off. Is that something that you're still doing, or are you more vocal now instead?
Very vocal. I've been very vocal.
Yeah.
Told me that I need a mute button. One of the games that I play are to take off my ring and throw it at him, but I don't do that anymore. I've noticed that is a game, but I didn't realize it at the time. Mm-hmm. I've only noticed it when we were in the retreat and AJ pointed it out, and she's been great helping us navigate through our relationship. So I've learned a lot from that. Now when I deal with issues, I talk to him about it and just leave it at that. I don't take off my ring or anything. But if I do have to give him an ultimatum, I will take off my ring.
Okay. The ring comes off. it's serious.
AJ has been pretty, and we even hung out with her in Ghana during the off season. We've definitely, she came to my show the other day. She's been like our real friend. She's been helping us throughout this whole, during the off season with our relationship. So.
Yeah. What was John Sally like? He's so cool.
Yeah, John is great, man. I'm trying to think. Well,
John Sally with the bad hair. I'm just kidding. It's an inside joke.
John was good. When he first came on the show, I really thought he was there for us, going to be really on our side. But I think Tane seemed like he went on the he went on the women's side. He wasn't totally for us like I thought he was.
Oh, you wanted a Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, John has to go home to his wife, so I understand what he was doing. All right.
He's been in a long-term relationship, so he knows. He's trying to teach you something.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, Claudia, you and KJ, you sort of said you were in a holding pattern, like you were stuck, and it seemed like you didn't know why you were stuck. Is there a point during the show, during the season, where you had this aha moment where you're like, I can't believe this is why we've been in this pattern?
Not really.
Really?
Do you think so?
No, I don't think there was an aha moment of why we were stuck, but stuck was definitely a word. It was a standoff is what it really was.
A Mexican standoff.
Yeah, Mexican standoff.
You lower your gun. No one lowers their gun, so you just stay there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what it was. Mm-hmm.
That's what it still is.
It's still, yeah.
It still is.
Kind of still is.
No, it is.
So what did you take away from the show? Because it was a pretty intense experience. Oh no.
The show. Well, we got a lot of things off our chest. That's at least that much. We got a lot of things off our chest so that we can say, because she'll tell me what she wants, but she won't get any answers. I can tell her what I want, but I won't get any answers. There's no resolution to any of our issues. And that was what we were kind of hoping for with AJ, for her to say, okay, he just asked you this. Now, what do you have to say about it? Mm-hmm. So I think we did get to some of that, but moving forward, there's no AJ standing around saying, hey, I'm supposed to be doing this or doing that. So maybe we need another try.
It feels like nobody wants to go first. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this to be in a disrespectful way. I'm not calling you the B word. I feel like it's two bad bitches in one relationship, and each one thinks, well, I'm used to the other person being all over me and making the move, and I'm used to the girl bending over backwards. So, and I'm not calling you that word, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you get what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It feels like it's two people that are just used to their partners bending over backwards. So then it's kind of like an ego thing, I think, where no one wants to like do the thing first to fix it, which the other person's like, well, if you do this, I'll do that. And no one's going first. And I think a lot of people probably deal with that if they're being honest about their relationship. Like, I think a lot of people like feel like, well, you go first. Well, you go first. You know what I mean? And I don't know, like that's tough because why is it that nobody wants to go first?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Wow. So before I let you go, what would you say you learned from this experience?
A therapist helps. Having a moderator helps. That was probably the biggest thing I learned. Because normally, we just deal with our own issues, but when you have somebody else actually asking you tough questions and you get to speak to them, but this person is listening, then it's, it just like you're just sitting off to the side, but you actually feel it and hear it and you say, oh, okay, I understand now.
When I was younger, like if I had issues in a relationship, like I hate to argue. I hate it. Although I'm good at it, I don't like doing it. It gives me a lot of anxiety. So in prior relationships, if we argued a few times, I'd be out. I would not fight for it. I would just be like, you know what? There's 6 billion people in the world. I don't need to be here and be miserable. This show kind of shows you learn from this, like, fighting for something and leaving everything on the table. If you are going to walk away from something, you should at least give it the respect to leave everything on the table and to put everything in before you make that move. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a good thing about these kind of shows. Like, I think there's a lot of people out there that are reactionary. They just like, oh, you didn't do this, I'm out. Mm-hmm. You cheated once, I'm out. And I feel like, listen, you're going to meet another person with as many issues or if not more. So, you're going to have issues with whoever you're going to be with. So I think this shows you how far some people want to go to kind of fight for their relationship. And that was a positive thing, I think.
Yeah, that's great. I have only a few more seconds, but I want to find out, Michael, you and Rada, where are you guys today as far as after the show, and what impact did it have on your relationship?
It made a great impact on our relationship. We're stronger than ever. People try to take us down on the internet. People try to say things to myself and him in our DMs. It just doesn't bother us anymore. At this point, we know who we are, we know what we want, and we enjoy each other, and that's what's important. And that's what makes us happy in the moment.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time. The season looks just so exciting and intense. So we're looking forward to tuning in. And thank you so much for your time today.